Do this laundry. Woo!
Hey, you gotta put it away too.
But how would that sound though? But how would that sound to you? Would that sound fair?
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say I would
No,
want
you literally
the
said
raw.
earlier, guys don't
I'm just saying
understand.
guys don't understand, but guys
We
don't.
do. But guys do. We
Okay,
do
but
understand. We just understand that that's not our role.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man Cass.
And Bell.
And we're here for another Divorce Not an Option podcast where we try to help people in their relationships and their marriage stay together. From two life coaches that have been married for 22, been together 22 years,
Been together
married
22
20.
years. Almost
Wow.
20 in November, yeah.
Wow, it's been a long. I see today we're rocking red. That's just coincidence.
Well, because you're wearing red, so I'm like, I'm gonna match you, right? And
This should have been
red.
like our Valentine's Day outfit.
Oh, that's true.
Like it should.
But
Really
but
should
we
have been.
wore our Valentine's Day outfit. It was a matching outfit as well.
Yeah, but it should
So
have
I
been
had
red.
Oh well.
Is it red like the color?
Yeah, the color of Valentine or love.
Yeah,
I guess.
think so.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, what we talking about today, babe?
Well, I thought today would be, we can explore, the relationship between spouses and children. So this week, Ayesha Curry, people came for her because she say that her marriage comes first with staff and then their children. So then that created a whole slew of conversations and comments, of course, and everything on social media. So I thought we'll kind of explore and take a deeper dive into that.
Okay. All right. So the name of this podcast is gonna be F them kids.
No,
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 no.
not F them kids.
Oh. I thought we were done.
No,
I thought that was it.
it's
We
not
just
F them
done. F them kids. Keep
No.
moving. No. All right. Okay. So serious. So I think over the years, now I think there's two ways we can look at this, right? There's the biblical way, right? Biblically, if you're a Christian, your husband, your spouse is supposed to come before your children, right? Modern day times, though, with the rise of single motherhood, we have come to the ideal that kids come first. I've seen a lot of women online, talking about, my kids come first, my kids a priority, or or different, like how they put the means of dating sites where women are like, oh, you got to understand my kids always come first before you.
Well,
so,
you say dating, so that's different than marriage.
well, I mean, in general, I think the idea now is because the rise of single motherhood is that mothers want to put the kids first. I don't think is much of a problem with the fathers. I think we as men, we and correct me if I'm wrong, people out there in podcast world, video world, whatever. Men put the whole family first. And men will put the wife first before the kids because I think men understand the order of protection.
Okay.
Biblically, God protects me. I protect my wife. My wife protects the kids. That's how it's supposed to go. But because we live in a society now where marriage is not what it used to be, it's got very, very confusing. And mothers, being that their natural instinct is to protect their kids, or would now have an idea, even in marriage now, that my kids come first, which I think sets up for a bad marriage. Because at the end of the day, before you had those kids, you had your man, or or your spouse, because there's some men that may do as well,
Right.
And when you forget that, it messes up everything in the marriage, the order, the flow. But what do you think, my love, from a woman's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, from a woman's perspective, like I say, we're gonna keep it within marriage, of course. As far as if you're a single mother and you're dating, I mean, your children should come first. Because you're not married, so your priority is your children. But aside from that, as far as marriage, I believe that women, should put their husband first. I said, I'm not even gonna go into the biblically like you did, and everything. It's just to me, it makes sense, just because of the simple fact that, you know, if it wasn't for your husband, your spouse, then you wouldn't have the children.
Hmm.
Now there may be another conversation out there that, stepfathers and stepmothers, and, and that, we can, explore, different conversation, but we're exploring, relationship where the husband is the father of the children, and everything. And so I believe that, of course, your spouse should come first. And the reason for that is because how I feel, aside from all the arguments out there, the critics and such, but when your children leaves, right? When they leave the home, and they go out in this world, on their own, with everything that you've all taught them, now it's just you and your spouse. So
Hmm.
if you put your spouse first, then when the children leave, then you guys can continue on with
Yeah.
whatever activities you were doing, and the
Hmm.
love, the growth, and everything. Now, if you put the children first in the marriage, what's going to end up happening is that when those kids go, then that's when you become very lonely, and you don't understand, you don't know your spouse anymore, and that's
Hmm.
where the disconnect comes. Well, I don't know this person anymore, they're a stranger to me. Well, yeah, because you neglected the fact that you guys were married, because
Hmm.
everything was poured into the children rather than your marriage and your spouse. So,
I think it's very interesting when you have that talk about kids, and you have that talk about what comes first, because I want to retract something I said earlier. I said, like, even during dating women, but it's funny when women are single
mm-hmm,
and they have kids, they don't put their kids first.
mm-hmm,
Because when I'm really thinking about it, like, a lot of these single mothers are in the club. A lot of these single mothers are bringing men to their house, having
mm-hmm,
them move in with their children. They're always thinking about themselves.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? And then also, let's even talk about marriage. Most women, statistically,
mm-hmm,
leave a man and break up their house, and have said they prefer their happiness
mm-hmm.
over their family's happiness or their kids'
Right.
happiness. So I think the idea of putting the kids first is really crazy when I think about it. Because, at first I'm thinking, like, oh, yeah, you should. But then when you think about our society today, divorce is high, single motherhood's high, abuse of kids are high. All these things are very high right now when it comes to, which statistically shows that parents aren't putting their kids first.
Mm-hmm,
They're putting themselves first.
mm-hmm,
And I think it's not about putting your spouse first anymore. It's about putting themselves first. I don't even think kids are even in the equation for most, because if you think about back in the days, marriages, they stayed together
mm-hmm,
for the kids. Husband
mm-hmm,
stayed with the wife for her and the kids, for the
mm-hmm,
family. Women stayed in the family for, I choose my husband because I want my kids to be happy. Like, they chose the family, they chose the kids, they chose their spouse. Now they don't anymore.
mm-hmm.
People leave because they want to leave. So the conversation, and then you have all these people get mad at her that stated that. But in reality, mothers are not picking their kids first anymore. In marriages, they're divorcing more. And you know what I'm saying? In single motherhood, they're doing what they want to do to be happy. So it's a real contradiction of people getting mad about, oh, you ain't choose your kids first in a marriage. But why is it that 80% of divorces, the mother leaves over because of her happiness?
Mm-hmm.
Divorce is at what, 55% now? So that's more than half percent of the divorces, I mean marriages, and the divorce, and the majority of those, 90% of those, is because the woman wants to be happy and she chooses her happiness. So it's really a complex situation when you really try to have that conversation about happiness, and who choosing your children, because in no way are the children being picked on both ends, regardless. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Women may be a little bit more, but I mean, in general, nobody's picking the kids. Everybody's picking themselves. That's why we have so many kids and that's delinquents and things like that, because parents are wanting to live their lives and do their thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you and your, assessments. And so, like I say, I don't think that, that if you're single, that you should not focus on your children because your priority is your children, or if you're in any other type of, relationship other than marriage. But for the marriage itself, like I said, I believe, it is best to, make sure that your spouse is taken care of, and then the children needs.
But let me ask you a question. How does that look? Because maybe some people don't understand how that may look. Because
Mm.
on thing, a lot of women and men, both sides, think they're doing what they have to. I think we went
Mm-hmm.
through that during our marriage and stuff like that. How is it that you put your spouse first?
Well, I think, for women, and I can speak for the men, but I think for women, putting their spouse first may looks like the way that it looks like is putting their needs first, right?
Hmm.
So, not being neglectful of your spouse. And, I mean, I would admit when we were, early on when we started having kids and stuff, the children, as far as, my son is a lot older than our daughter, so our son needs, prioritize her first because again we were new parents,
Hmm.
we had no idea what we're doing, so any little thing, all the focus was on the child, so date nights were not as frequent or any, back then, or we weren't doing a lot of, time for to grow our marriage or anything. So all of that, I think that's all natural
Hmm.
just because, especially for new parents, you guys are navigating, new waters, you don't understand anything. So I think that's all natural, just a natural part of life. But I think as you learn and you grow, then you kind of correct that because you could see that neglect. Because for us, you can see what that neglect did to us. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I think for every couple, they go through the same thing.
Yeah, you know, from a man's perspective on both sides, it looked like, you know, I know from a man and from our experience, it looks like she have all the energy in the world for the
Mm-hmm.
kids, cook, clean, take them out, do whatever. But then when you want time, it's, oh, I'm tired, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Then they get mad at you when you don't understand that they're tired. But you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you have all this energy for the kids, but you have none for me. And sometimes it's just spending time, or intimacy, which is very
Mm-hmm.
important to a man. You know what I mean? I mean, let's be honest. We're married. Let's be real here. You know, married sex don't last 2, 3, 4 hours anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's when you're young. But when you're married, good 10, 15 minutes, you good. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real, But she could sit and shop all day long and watch TV or watch a 2-hour movie,
Mm-hmm.
walk around the mall shopping with the kids, do
Mm-hmm.
all of this, but she can't lay there for your man for 10 minutes. I mean,
Y-
and it's like, oh, it's such a struggle to lay there and have sex, and it's like and I think for a man,
mm-hmm.
that's like the main thing, the intimacy part. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
like for a man, he has needs, and he sees you doing all of this work for the
Mm-hmm.
kids, and he's working too. As a man, I'm out there working too, but I want to come home and do what I do, spend time with my wife, get a little something, something, and you can't give me 10 minutes
Yeah.
of your attention to lay there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not asking you to do the tricks you usually do on special occasions and flip and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You just lay there and just moan for a brother. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, you know what I'm saying? But you can't do that. But you got all this energy in the world for everything else. You go out with your friends, you chill
Mm-hmm.
with it, but you just can't lay there for a brother. Let me do what I do. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? That's too much of a burden for women. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that is the main issue. I think when men, you know what I'm saying? Now on the other side, as a man, I think we tend to work so hard for the family and say that I'm a father, I have to take care of my kids, I have to take care of you, that we forget the little things we used to do. You know what I'm saying? Like the, little roses, or the dates, or just to tell you you're beautiful, you look good, things
Or
like
help
that.
out around the
Or help out
house.
around the house,
Mhm.
here and there. So I think on both sides there are certain things that we do, particularly the men and particular women, that we don't really recognize. You know what I mean? And you need to stop and pause, because when you love somebody,
Mhm.
it shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be a burden,
Right.
because your kids aren't a burden. You work hard every day for your kids. You
Mhm.
should work the same for your spouse.
Yeah, I agree.
If you know
Mhm.
your husband, or you know your wife, you should work hard to make them happy and do the things that you know they like to do.
Mhm.
But when you sit here and you prioritize your needs and the kids' needs over your spouse, then you're destroying your marriage.
Yeah. I mean that's perfectly way to put it. You're right, because we're so caught up in our daily lives, that we're so focused on the children, and what they need, that we do neglect. And yeah, I mean yes, you're right. I mean, like I say, and for us, we've experienced that. Where I had the energy for to go out with my friends, and that was like a to de-stress, and everything. And, but then I did not have, the time for you and everything.
Hmm.
And, all the kids' activities, sports and after school activities, and then, homework and everything. So, but I will say, I mean, as mothers, we do take on a whole lot than fathers, not,
Oh, oh,
no
oh,
excuse. I'm
oh,
just
oh,
saying we do.
the mother. No,
I am just saying we
no,
do. As
no,
far
no.
as the kids, when they get home,
Oh, God.
especially if you have young children, you have to sit there and help them with their homework, right? And these homework, you don't even understand these homework nowadays. I have
Not
no
my fault you
idea
don't understand
what
new
the hell
math.
these homeworks are. And so you have to sit here and help them out with the homework. Then you have to cook, right? Because everybody got to eat. Then you have to clean up, right? Then you have to do bedtime, and make sure they take their baths and brush their teeth and get ready for bed. And by the time you're done with all that, it is 9, 10 o'clock at night, and you are exhausted. Okay, you are tired. And as the men, what are they doing? Nothing. They
Wow.
get to stay home.
This went
They get
from,
to come home, sit down from work, right?
wow.
Again, long day of work. Okay, great. We work too, because there was never a time that I didn't work, so I work too. So
Wow.
so
This
again,
turned from
as a
to
mother,
man
I'm just
bashing.
it's not men bashing. I'm just saying that if you look at it on the side, the mother's
No, no,
side is
no, no,
is a little bit
no,
much more
no,
than
no,
on the
no,
father's side.
no, no. Let's be no, no,
Let's be
no,
real.
no,
All
no, no.
right.
Let's be real. I think there's different duties. I think
Oh,
no,
here
no,
we
no,
go.
no,
Mhm.
no. There's different duties,
Mhm.
and I think the problem is when you try to compare tit to tat.
Mhm.
That's a problem,
Mhm.
right? For a man, like at the end of the day, we live in a house. When
Mhm.
things need repairing,
Mhm.
how many Saturdays I've been
Mhm.
outside working my ass off all day long?
Okay,
Wait, hold on, hold on,
that's
hold on.
fair.
I let you talk. I let you
Uh-huh.
talk. How many Saturdays and weekdays I've been
Mhm.
preparing things? When something gets broke, who has to figure it out?
Mhm.
When something goes wrong in the house, who has to figure it out?
Mhm.
When things go, when you need some discipline to happen in the
Mhm.
house, who has to be the bad guy?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think that because men and women are different,
Mhm.
what women think is stressful to them, we have
Mhm.
the equivalent on our end.
Mhm.
But women don't understand that in the back of your head, a man's always protecting and providing.
Mhm.
We're always stressing ourselves out with how we could be better, how we could protect the family, make more money, things like that. We're
Mhm.
always trying to find peace, because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, a man's world is in peace. We don't
Mhm.
have manicures and pedicures and shopping sprees that we could do for de-stressor.
You
Our
guys do.
de-stressor is watching TV and chilling. But at the end of the day, when something goes bad,
Mhm.
is on us. See, the thing is this: when things go bad,
Mhm.
right, in the marriage,
Mhm.
it's the man that has to fix it.
Mhm.
It's not the woman. When your house blows, when your pipe breaks,
Mhm.
when something needs to be moved, when
Mhm.
something needs to be put together,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? We have to do it. Now, yeah, granted, I understand you cook, you clean, you work with the kids. I get that. So I'm not taking anything away from that. But I think that we can't sit down and downplay each part. I can't say, well, you don't do nothing. You just cooking. Because I can say, you just cook and clean. You know what I'm saying? That you microwave and just and fry some stuff. You know
Microwave.
wait, hold on. I'm saying, you just throw stuff in the laundry and press the button. You get what I'm saying? Like the perspectives. Like man can say that to a woman, and that's the truth. Like you have it's not like back in the days you in the back with a big old bucket of water, washing your clothes and hanging them up anymore. You just put them.
Ancient times.
Wait, hold on. That's what I'm saying. You just put them in the laundry. You're not up there going and hunting down the chicken or getting the eggs from the farm.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is perspective. A man can say, well, you just talking with the kids, helping them with homework. That's it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
Where we can
I
say,
see.
yo, I'm out there. I mean, look at all the marks I have on my arms and stuff. Let's be real. These marks are from projects and things I've done in the house. You know what I'm saying? I don't get, you get to shower and be nice, and I'm up there.
Really,
You're still taking dirt off from a project I did 2 weeks ago. I'm still healing from a project that I did a month ago. So, but I'm not trying to belittle what a woman does. So don't get me wrong. So I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that I think if we reverse roles, we couldn't do each other's roles.
Right.
Like you
we
couldn't do my role as a man, and I couldn't do your role as a man.
Right.
We're fitted for these roles. So that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I don't want to say, well, your job is easier, mine is easier, you don't go through. Because when you start doing that, then what happens is that the animosity comes. Then you start looking at your spouse and saying, look at this nigga over here sitting there.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you understand that we have different roles, like, I don't want your role. I know I couldn't do what you do.
And I don't want your role either, because I don't want to be out there,
Exactly. So the thing is,
cutting the yard and all that building stuff. I'm
exactly.
Good.
So the thing is, what you gotta say is be happy with your role.
I am happy
because
with my role.
So don't say. Well, you don't. No, you're right. I don't know. That's not my role. And to be honest, I couldn't do it like you could do it, and you couldn't do my role, because if we reversed and I sat here, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna cook, and I'm gonna get with the kids. Oh, baby, you go mow the lawn, go in the shed and clean it out. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, there's a doorknob needs fixing. Go get the tools. Oh yeah, you gotta build this thing we bought for my kid for the kids. You got that, baby. That's easy. I gotta go. I gotta go. Cook and clean, and I gotta do this laundry. Woo!
Hey, you gotta put it away too.
But how would that sound though? But how would that sound to you? Would that sound fair?
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say I would.
No, you literally said earlier, guys don't understand.
I'm just saying guys don't understand, but guys
we do. Guys do. We do
okay,
understand. We just understand that that's not our role.
Okay, and you know what? And that's okay, and that is fine, and that's why it's a beautiful thing. What do you always say? Understanding is a beautiful thing.
Yes,
so we understand each other roles, and we can keep it as that. It's a beautiful
thing.
thing.
And roles are not bad. And
they're
I
not.
Think, and I think at the end of the day, we sit there and we try to be gender neutral, and it's hard when our bodies are different, our minds are different, our chemistry is different. It's just different, So to sit and try to go neutral I think it's really a negative in a marriage. You know what I mean? You have to strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they sometimes they may run along gender lines. Sometimes they may not. Maybe you have a wife that likes to build things and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
what I was gonna say. There's a lot of ladies out there that can
you may have a
do
husband that
all
likes
that.
to do
that loves to cook.
I'm
and
not saying
laundry
necessarily.
And put things away
Yeah, I'm
and
not
take care of
saying
the kids.
necessarily you
Great.
can't because you're a man or a woman. But I think that you have to accept roles. One of the roles you have to accept, though, getting back to the topic, is that your spouse is number one and their needs are number one. Because, like you said, when the kids leave, it's just me and you.
Yeah.
If we're married, if we're together for 50 years, the kids are only with us for 18 of those years, technically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I'm like, I mean, technically, we're taking care of them for 18 of those years. Most of our marriage, we won't have these kids. So what are we gonna do afterwards?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's good to always, make sure that you guys are prioritizing your spouse. Continuing with date nights. Continuing with each other's needs first.
Sex
and
lots
sex.
of.
Intimacy.
Let me tell you, no, and this is real. Now, unless you and your spouse just don't have high libidos, if you're just not a sexual couple, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of men in relationships are sexual. Don't stop having sex.
Yeah, it's
Don't.
surprising. I read that marriages they only have sex once or twice a week.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, that's the average.
Averagely,
That is the average.
Like I mean, sometimes we have sex once or twice a week. It's a busy week, but usually we have sex almost every day.
Yes, but that's the average.
Average?
Yes, that's the
Really?
average of the sex out there. in
Yo,
the world.
seriously, I think you need to start having more sex because you know what? At the end of the day, it's an intimacy. It's really not about sex in a sense. I mean, yeah, it's great, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's about the closeness.
Yeah.
And you know, I think a while ago I saw this meme or this story about a wife that was dying, and she asked her husband to have sex with her every night, and he did that every night, and you know, and he told her she was dying, but you know, they got back together.
Okay.
I know a lot of counselors say too, like, you know, have sex because at the end of the day, it really bonds you.
Yeah.
You know, it gives a woman confidence that her man is satisfied because a lot of times women, you know, my wife would be like, baby, if it'd be like 2 days, hey baby, you okay?
Well, because
you know?
you have a high libido.
You know what I'm
so,
saying?
I mean,
You know, so I mean, you know, it gives a woman confidence that her man is still wanting her, and it gives the man that stress relief and acknowledgement that his woman is his.
Yep.
And I think it's deeper than just the physical, and you have to make sex priority, even if it's 5-10 minutes a day or every other day. But make sure you're doing it regularly. Never, you know, it should never be that anybody in the relationship feels like they're not getting enough of the physical contact.
Yeah.
That is, I think that is decent. Like I said, everybody's different.
Right.
You know, some couples are cool with once a week. Like they have that night, like Wednesday night, baby.
Right.
You know, and it's good for them and they're fine with it. But if you're in a marriage that you don't feel you get enough sex, then you have to adjust that. And I don't want to hear from women or from men, oh, it's too much. Like at the end of the day, suck it up. You know what you married.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? If you married a woman with a high sex drive, at the end of the day, take some Viagra, drink some water. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your woman is happy.
Yep.
Same thing for a man. Lady, if you got to just lay there and let your man go to Pound Town, let him go to Pound Town. At the end of the day, let that man do what he got to do. Even if you're not into it, at the end of the day, let him do what he got to do. Now, man, you know, get some lube, whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, baby, you know, I'm not, but
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, it's important to both spouses.
It is. It's
that
very
you
important.
keep that intimacy. And that's also showing your spouse that you put them first. Because if my needs are being met by my spouse, then it doesn't matter how much attention she's paying to the kids.
Yeah.
Because priority isn't neglect on the other end. So just because you make your marriage priority doesn't mean you're neglecting your kids.
You're neglecting your kids.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you could make your marriage and priority and not neglect your kids.
And still, you know, make sure your kids' needs are taken care of as well. And that doesn't mean you don't spend time with your kids. That's not what any of this means.
No, because I think you know, we have this mentality of either you're in or out mentality. You know what I'm saying? You're with us or against us. And it's not like that in a marriage. You know, the thing is, if you and your spouse are best friends and you make each other priority and stuff like that, you know, you both could talk and understand that there's sometimes where you got to sacrifice. Like, for example, this weekend we wanted to go to this festival that was happening. You know what I'm saying? My wife did a cover of it on couplecris.com.
Yes, I did for Immerse Orlando. That happened this past weekend.
And we wanted to go to this wine wars thing
as
well downtown.
That was on Saturday.
We was invited by friends of ours. But unfortunately, our daughter decided to do a lemonade stand.
Impromptu lemonade stand
with her friends. And my son invited his girlfriend's mother over to meet us.
Yes.
So instead of us spending that day together, which we plan to do these events, we prioritize our kids. We let our daughter do her lemonade stand, which they made $36, which
Yes,
we're
they did.
happy
They
at them.
made
And,
$36.
and and my son, his girlfriend's mother came over, and we talked
We
and
met.
stuff for a
Yes.
couple of hours and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And by the time we got down there, it was almost over. The whole day was already gone. We just got some tacos and called it a day.
Yeah, we went
So,
out to eat. We still, went to
but
some of the shows.
exactly, and be honest, I was tired. I could have stayed home and went to sleep, but I said, you know what? Let me just at least spend these few hours with
Mhm.
my wife, because at the end of the day, we prioritize our kids,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean we have to neglect us. So let
Exactly.
me, get myself together,
Mhm.
and let's go down there for at least an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and just hang out. See, so at the end of the day, yeah, we prioritize our kids that day, but we
We
also
also
prioritize
spend time
ourselves. And
together.
we said, okay, we're going to spend time together. Even though I was
Mhm.
tired, and my body's like, I just want to go to bed. And it was cold that night too. It was cold outside too. You know what I'm saying? It was cold. But you know what? Let's spend that time together. And that's what you got to do, because at the end of the day, when you love somebody, and it may not always be convenient.
Mhm.
It may not always be what you want to do or convenient for you, but at the end of the day, you have to do it for the other person when you love them, and you have to make your marriage priority.
I agree. Just few minutes a day, just few minutes. It's not that long. We're not talking about hours and hours, and I mean, each day, just take some time. If it's 30 minutes to kind of talk through your day or what happened, or sit down and watch something together. And you don't even have to talk, but at least you're together, and and you're not on your electronics. You're spending quality time with each other. So that's all it's about.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely make your spouse priority. Doesn't mean you neglect your kids.
Does not
Does not at all. But make your marriage
a
a
priority.
priority. Okay. Well, one thing I gotta say,
Yes.
my book,
Your book is officially out and available on Amazon.
Men Are Meant to Be Broken.
Yes.
Uh, Great sales the first week. We
Thank you,
appreciate that.
everyone.
This book took me, I think I said before, about 3 years
Mm-hmm.
to write, and not because it's long. I just see is because I wanted to make sure it was relevant, and it really got to the black men,
Mm-hmm.
and for also black women to understand as well the perspective of a black man. It's not like a hard read or anything
Yeah.
like that, but like I said, it's very important. And thanks to everybody that's been supporting it. You can go
Thank
to
you, everyone,
Amazon.
for
The link
sharing.
is in the bio down there. Just pick up the book, pick up your copy. It's cheap, it's not expensive. Pick it up. Also, our
All
line
the products.
probably goes cultured.skin, cultured with a D.skin. That's the website. And we have our Ebony Mojo moisturizer line. We have our cream line. We're actually working on a campaign right now. Shout out to Miss O, my business partner, but she's also a
A
model and does a
model, yeah.
lot of coaching and stuff. And we're working on a huge campaign for it. So shout out to her. Download the Culture Radio app. We're working on a new independent radio station where we're paying independent artists to play, but more to come with that. Go to couplecritics.com
Yep.
and check out
All
all
our
the reviews
reviews
and
and
critics and
everything.
reviews and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And check out Black Men's Mental Health podcast.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, you can go to societyentertainment.com and check out all
Everything.
that the stuff we do, because we do a lot. Or you can go down to the bios. All our links are in the bios. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Right. And until next time, people.
Bye.
Appreciate you. Bye.